You can listen to this practice wherever it is you find yourself today. You can be sitting down or laying down or even stretching and doing things if that's what you got to do. And hopefully wherever you're at when you listen, this will still be helpful to you in some way. If you would like to listen to this in a still position, feel free to take all the time you need to arrive there. Just allow yourself to fidget, adjust, stretch, or move in whatever ways your body wants to move. Doing your best to not think about the movements, but just letting your body move you in the ways that intuitively feel good in your bones, muscles, joints. Maybe some cat-cow motions with the spine feels nice, or neck rolls, or side body bends, or even reaching the arms overhead to take a nice big morning stretch. Feeling that space between the bottom of your rib cage and your hip bones getting longer, so your organs have lots of space to breathe. And at any time, if what feels best to your body is stillness, then honoring that need for stillness whenever that feels like what is right for you. And there's no rush whatsoever. You can continue to move even throughout this practice whenever you feel the need to. You're not messing anything up if you do so. But at any time, if you haven't already, you can make your way to a still position. Just feeling that the spine is nice and straight wherever you are. And if you're in a space where you feel safe and would like to, you can allow the eyes to gently close at any time if they aren't already. And now mark your arrival into your practice today, into your body today, with a full and intentional cleansing breath. As you welcome in a long and slow inhale in through the nose, and almost watch yourself as you fill up to every corner and edge of you, getting as full as you can. And just pausing for a moment when you are full and really experience what that feels like to be full of air. And without straining as you need to, slowly letting all of that go. Again through the nose and just exhaling slowly, bit by bit, as you gently pull the navel toward the spine at the bottom of your exhale to really push that last bit of stagnant air out of you. As you again pause for a moment to now experience this sense of emptiness, as you allow your next breath to come to you as it is needed. And you can breathe just like this for as many rounds as feels good and helpful for you. Just exaggerating the 4 parts of the breath. The inhale, the pause at the top of the inhale, followed by the exhale, and that pause at the bottom of the exhale. Exaggerating these 4 parts in whatever way feels natural to you. So not worrying about the actual length of the inhales, exhales, and pauses on either side, but letting them be exaggerated, however, or whatever that means to you right now. So when the body naturally stops inhaling, seeing if you can open yourself up a tiny bit more to take in a moment's worth of air more into the body and just getting a little bit fuller. And when you would naturally roll over to the exhale, seeing if you can hold off on that for an extra moment and stay in that fullness a little bit longer. And when you would naturally stop the exhale, seeing if you can push out just a tiny bit more air and holding off on the inhale for an extra moment to stay with that emptiness for a little bit longer. As we just consciously and intentionally slow down the 4 parts of the breath, the process of our body breathing. As we communicate to our nervous system that now is the time to slow down and to be intentional. And at any time, if you haven't already, you can release this guidance over your breath altogether. And almost feel like you're stepping back and up in the mind into that role of the observer or the witness. Into that point of view where you can simply witness the fact that your body is breathing, rather than having any direct impact over the rhythm or depth of the breath. But remembering how our breath is our one bodily function that can be either voluntary or automatic. And so releasing the voluntary guidance we just had over the breath, and now simply observing the automatic process that is your body breathing you. Just like any other force of nature out there. Taking on that same perspective you may feel when you lay on the beach and just watch the waves roll up along the shoreline. Not trying to change anything about the size or speed of the waves, but simply watching as they come and go. Just as you would watch any other force of nature out there. Reminding yourself that your body, is another force of nature. And seeing if just for a split second you can observe that process. Reminding yourself of all of the things that your body does every single moment of your life to keep you alive. Without any of your doing, without any of your direction. Your body functions perfectly to keep you alive. For your entire life up to this point, your body has worked well enough to keep you alive and aware. Remembering the pure gift that truly is. And letting some of your awareness come to rest in your heart center. Gradually letting more and more of your focus and attention come to your own heart. Maybe even placing one or both hands on top of the heart to encourage that feeling from the outside as well, if you ever have trouble tuning into that rhythm. Just syncing your awareness up with this steady background beat that is your own heart. Remembering that this heart has been pumping life and love into you from before you were even breathing air. From the time you were in your mother's womb up to this exact moment. This heart has been your steady background beat to everything you've done in your life. This heart has been here for you. A constant reminder that you are alive. Knowing that there's nothing in particular that you do to make your heart beat. But this is a pure gift and your direct line of connection to the source that all of life comes from. You are directly connected to the source or force that all of life comes from, simply because you are alive. And this heart is your access to that unlimited supply of love that powers all of life. And all of us will forget this fact throughout our lives. And that is a human thing. We are not meant to be these fully spiritual beings all of the time, because we are human beings. And at the same time, we do have the power to remind ourselves that we are also spiritual beings. And sometimes we are fully aware of that and stand strong in that power, and we trust ourselves and our life journey, and we feel that connection we have to whatever forces you believe in, that power all of life. And other times we feel very disconnected from that. We feel like we're in the dark and confused and maybe a bit lost in this life. And just know that however you are feeling, either very disconnected or very connected or anywhere in between the two, however you are feeling does not take away from your innate connection. And this is a fact of life even when you don't feel it. You will always be connected to the source that life comes from because you are alive. And oftentimes when we forget about this, we find ourselves going about life in a way where we feel we are lacking, and we're trying to earn more love from the world around us, earn more recognition or appreciation from outside forces. And we're operating from a place of lack. And so whenever we catch ourselves operating in that way, from that place where we feel we are lacking, you can let that be a cue for you to remind yourself that you do not need, and you will never need, to earn more love from the world outside of you, because you have that direct line of connection to the source that all of love comes from, to that infinite supply right through your own body and through your own heart. And so it would be impossible for you to earn any more from the world outside. And instead, what we can flip that to is doing things and going about our life from that source of love, from our infinite supply of love that we do have access to. And we'll see and witness how that naturally allows it to spread and awakens that same truth within those we come into contact with. We are never at a lack of love unless we forget. But we can always remind ourselves of this truth of life and how this love will always be here. Just like the sun. The sun is always shining, even at nighttime and even behind clouds and storms. There are times where we can't feel its warmth, where we can't see its light, but it is still there. And that's the same with you. We will have times where we don't feel good and where we feel disconnected and like we're in the dark and like we're in the middle of a big storm. But you can rest in the knowledge that every single feeling is temporary Every single thing in life is temporary. And there will come a time again where you feel good and where you remember your power and you trust yourself. And so just let some awareness come to your face as you just first notice any expression that could be resting on your face right now. And making note of any emotions that could be communicated by this resting expression. Just making note of how your body is physically responding to what it is you're feeling and what it is you're hearing. And as your body exhales now, choose to let your face soften. Allow your jaw to hang into place and your tongue to release from the roof of the mouth. Allow your lips to rest gently on one another. As you allow this softness in your mouth to naturally release more tension in your chin, to soften any tension in your nostrils, feeling that sense of release naturally spread outward and upward as your cheeks relax a bit deeper. The ears, the eyelids, and the eyebrows. Allowing the hairline to soften back slightly as you just allow the full width and depth of your forehead to be. Allowing your gaze to be soft wherever it is you happen to be looking. Even if it's just for a moment, feeling a deep sense of stillness in the muscles of the face. Almost as if all the tiny muscles that exist in the face are ungripping from the bones and releasing back into the support of your skin. Remembering to trust your own anatomy. Knowing that when you let go and when you relax, everything will be held exactly where it needs to be without any of your direction, without any of your doing. Even when you are in a deep sleep, everything in your body is held right where it needs to be. And so it is safe for you to let go. You do not need to make yourself any bigger or any smaller than you are. But you can let yourself be as big and as heavy as you are. Allow yourself to be fully supported by the surface that is beneath you, releasing the full weight of your body into that surface. Feeling your pelvic floor lengthen and widen into that surface. As you just remind yourself of the deep safety that we all have with the earth that is beneath us and with the force of gravity all around us. Knowing that when you let go, you will not be crushed and you will not float away. But with the earth and gravity, you will be held exactly where you need to be. And so it is safe for you to let go, to release yourself into this moment, even if it's just for a moment. Feeling a sense of acceptance with exactly where you are right now. And remembering that acceptance and accepting where you are in life right now does not mean that you like it or agree with it or even want it to be like this. But acceptance and accepting simply means that you acknowledge what is. You acknowledge reality, which is the first necessary step in any real change. We cannot change what we don't notice. And so it is possible for you to accept who you are right now, to love who you are right now, and at the same time have aspirations to be someone different or to be somewhere different in life or to grow in a specific direction. In fact, it is necessary for you to accept and love yourself in order to grow in the direction of your choosing. And so just be so kind and patient with yourself wherever you are in your life right now. Noticing those tendencies to be hard on ourselves. Thinking that in order to change, we need to be mean to ourselves and almost disown who we currently are so that we can be someone different. Watching if that ever comes up. And when it does, letting that in itself be a cue for you to remind yourself that real change, or in order for real change to occur, we need to first find acceptance with the current state of reality. We cannot change what we don't first accept. And so you can gradually allow more and more of your awareness to come back to the heart if it is left. As you once again remind yourself of this deep connection to love and life that you have through this heart, through your own body. And now remind yourself of your anatomy and how this heart is physically connected through pathways of veins and vessels to every inch of your body, to your toes, to the fingertips, to the tip of your head, and every inch in between. The steady rhythm that is your beating heart exists in your hands as well. Exists in your feet, in the crown of your head, in the forehead, in the throat, in your belly, and in the region of your pelvis. as well as at the root of your spine, the space in between the sit bones. There is a pulse running through every inch of your body. And so all of this love that you have access to through your heart is in your entire body. And if there's any area in your body right now that is in pain physically, or that needs some form of healing, you can just trace the space internally with your awareness from your heart to that area of pain, or that area that needs healing in some way. And just let your awareness almost dance back and forth internally from your heart through whatever veins and vessels make its way to that area that needs extra support. And letting that love that is in your heart funnel into whatever part of you needs more support. And if there's no area in particular that's coming to mind, you can allow it to funnel into your brain and just trace that connection from your heart through the throat into the brain stem and into the brain itself. And let your awareness travel back and forth between your heart and your head, fueling this connection just by being aware of it. Clearing any blocks that may be in between your heart and head, or in between your heart and whatever area of your body needs more support. Letting your awareness act like water in a river, maybe. Letting that water wash away and clear any blocks that need to be cleared, so that you can feel yourself, feel your body more fully, and be an active participant in your own healing. And just taking a moment now to remind yourself that it is safe to trust yourself. And that on a deep level, your intuition, your instincts know. And that you know exactly what it is you need to do. And there is nobody else out there who will be able to teach you more about yourself, your life journey, your passions, and your sense of purpose here than what quiet time with yourself will be able to teach you. And what making mistakes can teach you as well. Oftentimes it's hard for us to see the path we want to be on without straying away from it. And we learn so much about where we'd like to be by being in places we really don't want to be. And our path can become clearer and clearer with each mistake we make. And so just being so kind to yourself when you do make mistakes, because all of us will. and having that same patience and love for yourself and the mistakes that you've made and will make, that you would have for anyone else who you love, maybe a child or a parent or a best friend or an animal. Showing yourself that same patience and love, that unconditional love you would show to anyone else who you love. And so you can continue to feel whatever is here for you to feel, as you just let yourself listen to the following words that are written by young Pueblo in his book, Inward. Just allow anything that feels like it resonates with you to soak in a little bit deeper and not worrying about the rest. Allow yourself to transform as many times as you need to be fully happy and free. The inward movement can be summarized as follows. We observe ourselves. We accept what we find without judgment. We let it go. And the actual release causes our transformation. We are already always changing. But when we focus on healing, we can change in the direction of our choosing. These are moments when we intentionally reclaim our power. Every moment we take to know ourselves, we return as someone new. Whatever calms and concentrates the mind causes the purifying release of old burdens that weigh us down. One can be successful with simple inward observation. But when we observe ourselves through proven healing techniques, including different forms of meditation and practices of yoga asanas, among many other things, we can accelerate the process of change, or be an active participant in our healing. Different techniques reach different levels of the mind. Ultimately, any practice that you feel is challenging but not overwhelming, is giving you real results, is the right one for you at the moment. As we progress, we may take on sharper tools for deeper healing. Anything that can heal the subconscious of our mind and create space for love is powerful enough to completely change our lives. When things get tough, remember that we are not building something small. We are building a palace of peace within our own hearts. It takes determination and effort to complete something of such beauty and magnitude. When you want to change yourself, do not change everything at once. Pick a few things to focus on first. Setting yourself up for success is key. Trying to change too many things at once is sometimes overwhelming. Being consistent with a few changes, applying them in your life until they become integrated as new positive habits, helps you build a strong foundation for future transformations. Setting yourself up for victory helps you build momentum. It makes the consistency required to achieve greater goals in the future much more attainable. find the balance between being productive and being patient. And finally, letting go is medicine that heals the heart. Letting go is a habit that requires practice. And letting go is best done through feeling, not thinking. So just take the next few moments to allow every word you've heard today to settle. Maybe even seeing a depiction of what this looks like to you in your mind's eye. Maybe almost as if every word was a little speck of glitter in a snow globe. And now is the time where we set the snow globe down and allow the words to settle. Allow the air to clear. Maybe even seeing a depiction of anything you no longer need leaving your body in some way. Maybe through your exhales, or maybe just as a veil that's being lifted away from you. Just allowing anything that feels like it's too heavy to leave your body. Anything that you are ready to let go of, letting it go. And trusting that anything at all that you've heard today that felt helpful, that struck a chord with you or rang true to you in some way. Trusting that that feeling can sometimes come when we hear on the outside what a part of us already knows to be true on the inside. And so just allowing those truths to be enhanced within you so that you feel a little bit more confidence to act on your own intuition, to trust your own instincts. So you can let some of your attention come now to the palms of your hands. Maybe even feeling the sense of a heartbeat in the palms of both hands. As you just remember the innate connection between your heart and your hands. Remembering that your hands have the power to create and heal through all the love that is in your heart. And fueling that power just by being aware of it. And so if it feels like something you'd like to do today, you can just let the palms of your hands find each other in a prayer position toward heart center. As you just feel this contact of your palms to one another, your fingertips to one another, and allow your thumbs to press toward your heart as you let your heart lift back toward your thumbs. As you just tune in closely to all of this power that is generated through you. And allow yourself to take one final deep and full breath into the body as you fill up with air the most you have today. And as you exhale, allowing yourself to let go of anything you're ready to let go of as you allow the head to gently bow. And taking this moment to bow to the source of energy that allows all of our hearts to beat, whatever you believe that to be. And bowing to everyone else in this space who has listened and completed this practice right alongside you. And finally, bowing to yourself for choosing to show up today and for taking the time out of your busy life for this pure act of self-love and self-care. And may this act continue to heal you through the rest of your days and nights. And may you bring the same love and understanding to everything you do and to everyone that you see. Thank you. Thank you, guys. If you want to stay in this space a little longer, you can feel free to do so. And just float on out of here. Hopefully you heard something that was helpful. And if so, I hope you share that with whoever you want to share that with. Thank you so much, Chris, for your donation. Thank you for any and all donations that come through whenever they do. They're really amazing and help support me and motivate me to do these lives. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for all the hearts, even if you don't write in the chat. Just thank you for your time and for listening. Bree says, very helpful, especially space I'm allowed to take up. Yes, absolutely. It's always a good reminder. And I feel like that reminder is something I feel like a lot of people who find themselves in meditation spaces and yoga spaces and any sort of healing space, I think is always a good reminder for people like us. Because I think we all have a tendency to put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be feeling good all the time. Because if you're committing yourself to a healing practice, the goal is to, oftentimes the goal for us when we start is to be feeling better and to feel more motivated and connected and positive about life. And we can be really hard on ourselves when we don't feel that way and think that we're doing something wrong, or also we kind of, take a back seat to life and just kind of want to stay in that observing place and not want to rock the boat too much and want to, be a force for good, which again, those are all great things. But at the same time, we can be really hard on ourselves, I find. And a lot of the rhetoric that you hear in meditation spaces can be really put a lot of pressure on yourself. Like the whole manifestation and law of attraction world, which I once really subscribed to. And I still do to some extent. I think in certain scenarios it can be helpful and motivating to remind ourselves that how we feel about things, or how we carry ourselves in the world, how we feel about ourselves and the world around us, that can bring in more positive people and more positive situations to happen to us. But at the same time as that is true, there's also always going to be forces beyond our control. We are not gods, Our world is not created by what we think. And that idea has caused me so much pain especially living with chronic illness. And if this is at all interesting to you, I have videos on my YouTube channel where I talk about this in the Ruthie Rambles playlist. If you just search manifestation, I think there's a few that I've made about it. Because, we are not in control of everything. And I fully believe that. And I think that having that idea when you suffer from a chronic illness, I know for a fact it almost killed me, because I didn't go to the hospital when I needed to because I was trying to heal myself. And I just had crystals all over me for like 10 hours, trying to just manifest my health to be better and to not be in so much pain and putting so much pressure on myself to heal myself. When what was happening was that my organs had twisted around each other, and the only way that I could fix that is from surgery. And it's just one of those things that happened from all the other surgeries I've had. And if I didn't go to the hospital when I did, I wouldn't have made it. So that was a real wake-up call for me, where I'm just like, maybe this isn't always true, Right, says that's yes, I agree. I think it's very true. But I also do see scenarios more like in networking situations, like in a workplace. Like obviously, if you want to create something in your life, like a project or business or something, and you talk more about it and you're very positive about these ideas, you're more likely to run into people who agree with you and want to help you create these things. But you can call that networking if you want to. You can call it manifestation too, if that's what you want to. I don't want to yuck anybody's yum or demonize things that really help people. But at the same time, it's the core of victim blaming because a lot of people who subscribe to manifestation think that everyone's life is a product of their thoughts and how much they manifest the good things. But so then that gives that person who sees someone who's suffering, sees someone with a chronic illness, or sees someone who's without a home or just in a really bad place in life, it makes them feel like, well, they probably deserved it. They probably just manifested it negatively for themselves. And it's really not true, ever. That is not true. There's always going to be outside forces. There's always going to be genetics and diseases that happen just from that. And not to mention all the issues that is all across the world, not just in the United States, but, there's just so many outside forces, and it is so damaging to continue the idea that people's lives are a direct reflection of what their thoughts are. It's just not true, and I stand firm in that. Anyway, I'm kind of blabbing at this point. If you want to hear me blab more, there's plenty of hours of me talking on my YouTube channel in the Ruthie Rambles playlist, and there's also another playlist that's just health history and updates. So if you want to hear more about my life with ulcerative colitis, I've had my colon removed, lived with an ostomy bag for 6 months, have a J pouch now, and I've had 6 surgeries total. So if any of that interests you or relates to you, all of it is out there. And I'm also in the process of editing 3 more videos of me talking. I'm almost done with the first one, so that should be up soon. Just with some updates about my life lately, health-wise, and some tips for traveling with IBD, and I don't remember. It's good stuff though. So if it interests you, it's out there. You can subscribe to me on YouTube and be notified when I upload, and follow me on Insight Timer to see my live schedule. And yeah, I'm also on Instagram. That's probably where I'm most active. Instagram, Insight Timer, and YouTube are my platforms. So it's all out there if it interests you. And I think that's all I got for you. Happy Tuesday. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week and weekend. And I hope to see you next time. Thank you for all the hearts, and thank you for listening. Okay, bye.